No, now the stream's up. Oh god, I didn't go to the restroom. I'm good. Awesome. Mm-hmm. You guys have no idea what we just did. The setup for this is gonna even be better. But anyhow, am I doing the intro?
Yes.
Okay. Oh crap. Dude, I need to hold on. No, shut up. We're so late and we know it. Don't worry, folks. All part of this. Come on. Come on, girl. Here you go. All right, wait. It's up. It's up. All right, I'm going. You ready? Okay. I have no idea. 3. All right, we got 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have no idea what we just accomplished. Okay. Yes, we're late, and it is Wednesday. No, it's Monday. Monday the 25th January 2021. And so sorry we're late. We were supposed to be on 1:30. We know we never make it on by 1:30 because hi Corey.
We're always adding stuff.
We're always adding stuff, and we're always So
it's an endeavor.
We made a couple of adjustments to stuff that we really wanted to do, and we're like, you know what? Maybe we should have like a news summary at the top of the hour to cover some of the things that we've covered, right? Like we've hit some things that already recently just flip flopped, and we'll get to that in a minute. So we decided, well, let's add a 7-minute timer, and we'll call it the 7-minute summary, and see if we can deliver pieces of information in 7 minutes to have a 7-minute summary at the top of a show.
7 minutes for all of them.
Yeah, and that takes work because we don't have a timer. Like we didn't have one built. We had to build a timer. We had to integrate it into all the scenes. We had to do all this extra work, but we got it to work. But it took us an extra how many minutes?
I don't know.
A few 2-minute minutes.
At least 5.
Roscoe was completely unimpressed. As you can see, he's actually walked out of the scene.
I don't think you can hear. Yeah, he's on the couch. He's bending.
He's done. He's like, I'm done with
you guys
losers.
have been screwing around with this thing for an hour.
So that was kind of funny. Anyhow, so it's the 25th of January. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's Monday. Welcome back, everybody. Back channel. Thanks for joining us again. As Mike's alluded to, we've got a new thing for you. We're going to give that a go here in a minute. And but again, it'll still be the same kind of informative variety topics you guys know that we provide you guys. Fun.
But we've given ourselves a limit. So we decided that we have a 30-second setup, right? 30 seconds in the timer, and I think that 30 seconds is going to go away because I want to eliminate the 30 seconds anyway. We figure we're going to try it for today. And then we have 7 minutes, and we were going to deliver... Okay, so if you looked at the title, we already got a monster movie coming up, and I'm gonna give you a hint. We're gonna look at the new trailer for what is it? Godzilla versus Kong.
Not another. Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong.
Godzilla versus Kong.
More CGI. Looks good. I mean, visually, it
should be good.
Good. We'll see.
We were gonna try to do that in the 7-minute summary and make it really interesting. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna do that and just screw us anyhow. Because the funny
change it all around.
Because it'd be funny because the trailer itself is 7 minutes and 20. No, what is it?
2 minutes 35.
2 minutes 35 seconds long, and then we can talk about it after the 7-minute segment if we want to. But
yeah, but then we got 2 other topics to get through.
Oh crap, we can't do that. All right, so we won't make it part of the 7-minute summary. But the trick is going to be: can we deliver information in 7 minutes in a timely manner? And this is going to be a total cluster for us, so we have no idea. And so, who's taking what topics? Because we didn't even discuss that. I gotta write this down.
Who did the Xbox one?
I did the Xbox one.
So you do that one. So I'll do the first one then.
Okay, so you're doing the first one. So first of all, let's now.
This is all timered, right?
Yeah, it's all gonna be timed.
Okay,
once
fine.
we go,
so timer.
Hold on, wait. So once we go, but I gotta make sure that your screen share is working because yours is flipping out again. See, I don't understand what that is. OBS needs to get this thing. This external capture card is not a happy camper for whatever reason, and we're not really sure why. Try the other port, see if it happens. Because it works for us all the time, and then it doesn't work when we get it into the actual stream, and it's just a weird thing. It's not even working for you. You're just going to deliver There it goes. Fine. You ready?
Hey, it's working.
All right, it's working. So
Yeah,
wait,
fine.
so then I'm going into. So you're starting.
I'll do this.
Okay.
Then you're gonna do X-Bone.
All right. Yep.
And then
And then you're coming back. You're
I guess
closing.
I'll pick up the overload.
Okay, you're picking up the overload. All right, you ready?
And then yeah, whatever. Let's go.
All right, so we're gonna so here it is. So we have 7 minutes to deliver a summary. We're working through everything else. Okay, I'm starting the timer. So this is going to be the start of our 7-minute timer. Okay, and if this wait, that didn't come up in convo. It doesn't like us now. Get out of town. That's not the way this is supposed to work. There we go. 7 minutes. Okay, we have 7 minutes. 7 minutes 30 seconds on the clock. So at 7 minutes exactly, you can start. So you have to wait 22 seconds. Drum roll for all those at home watching at home. So here we go. You have 14 seconds. I'm counting you down.
Okay.
Okay, then it's gonna be live. That's all you get. You ready? 7, 5. Here we go. 5, 4, and go.
All right, boom. So first of the 3 things we're gonna hit in our 7-minute countdown here is GameStop jumps another 140% to above $150 stock price at one point. Trading briefly halted, another wild day. Basically, what's going on here? GameStop, if you know, that brick and mortar store that a lot of us got our game peripherals from, and maybe still do, right? And use games and things. They have had a boom of stock price increases, and it's gone up quite a bit. And for not really any like thing they've announced or any increase in what they're doing.
Yep.
It's basically investors who are hoping this would not go down. They're on the internet talking in forums, talking it up, and basically making this artificially inflate.
Yeah, they're basically because it's brick and mortar's almost dead, right?
Yeah.
I think new delivery on game systems is most widely download, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We just downloaded Battlefront 2 just a few days ago and played it. So I mean, it's a old games, new games. It cuts down on price to the end consumer if there's no box and all that. So yeah, brick and mortar maybe not totally dead, but and they need to reinvent themselves. But either way, people that own the stock in GameStop like money.
Apparently,
which is
140% over inflation on GameStop. I mean, on their actual stock is ridiculous. I can't. That's okay. So this is basically insider trading, is what we're talking about. Basically, if they're sharing that information in chat rooms, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You tell me when you're done with that subject, because then we got to move on.
How's time? What time is it?
We got 5 minutes and 25 seconds.
Oh, we're good. Just move. Yeah, go.
Fine. Don't make it exciting.
Boom.
All right. In other news, we brought to the other day in one of our episodes that Xbox Live is going to be increasing their prices to $59.99 for 6 months and an additional $1 per month prescription per person who is prescribed or subscribed at the monthly service.
Just kidding.
Right? Just kidding. So anyhow, Microsoft has quickly reversed on that, and basically, Mr. Spencer, from the CEO of Microsoft, actually for their gaming division, said, "We're sorry, we screwed up."
It literally says, "quote We messed up today, and we were right to let it."
So he says basically, the full statement went on to say, "We messed up today. We were right to let us know connecting the player with friends is a vital part of gaming, and we failed to meet the expectations of players who count on it every day. As a result, we've decided not to change Xbox Live Gold pricing." So basically, they went right back to the old pricing, and I guess we were contemplating what it meant for people that already had the Ultimate Game Pass, and how that was going to really factor into their gaming decisions to have Xbox Live Gold, when it now seemed to be, if you were going to go in for, I guess, 3 mainstream titles within one season, it probably made more sense also to go to Ultimate, but otherwise it kind of diminished the value of just having Gold.
Yeah, and actually, if you guys caught that last one, you know that I'm not an Ultimate subscriber. I just have Xbox Gold.
I am
Live Gold, and where he's the Ultimate. And so I was kind of really, the wife and I are really thinking, like, okay, what do we really do? Is this something we really have to change? Well, not anymore. Nice. Nope. It's kind of exactly the same. The 12-month subscription back to $59.99. Carry on.
Fair enough. But it's actually good to see Microsoft understand their customer, understand the value that they have going on in their community, and how important it was for people to stay connected. And apparently the backlash was very swift.
Yeah.
And it was rapid, and it was the entire community that basically came up in arms and said, wait a second, we don't need this garbage. So good to you, the gaming community, for keeping Microsoft honest, and secondarily, good for Microsoft for treating everyone with a little bit of respect. And with that said, I'm going to hand it back to Corey.
Thank you. Welcome back. Let's switch over to a source we found on Jalopnik, but it's overloaded servers crash ahead of an iRacing race. So if you guys don't know what iRacing is, it's a online community where you can race virtually cars in different series, and one of the races they have is called the Virtual Rolex 4. It precedes the real race, the in-person race you guys have heard us talk about.
That we'll be going to.
Yeah, that we're going to attend. But this is the virtual Rolex 24, and it's in the same kind of sense. It's about having multiple teams, multiple drivers. It's really along lines of an endurance test, and still in the iRacing setup. And as the title says, they had a bit of a problem getting all the teams arranged, and basically servers went down for hours. And actually, long story short, they didn't even they actually shut down the forum, one of the places that the racers could go on and see what the actual problem was. So they shut that down, and they still were kind of confused. I don't even know. Yeah, they weren't sure. So the people that were trying to race and get into the race lobbies weren't sure if it was on their end and the race was still going on, or whether, there was just mass confusion. And let me see if I can find that one thing where it kind of talks about basically and kind of what happened. So they have so they have a system called the scheduler, and the scheduler is responsible for taking the team, assigning them to servers, and getting it all kind of set up. And basically what happened was the schedule was taking too long to get those tasks done.
Right.
And somewhere in there in its code, it has a timer, and it timed out. So just like if your browser, right, if you guys know you're kind of on some less than good internet service, or,
less than good. I like how you say that.
Not sufficient.
You just have crappy internet.
Crappy. It's less than sufficient to download a page, right?
Right.
And you hit refresh or enter, right? And you see it working, and it's working, but it's working really slow, and then eventually you just get the timeout, and you get a nice little graphic or whatever it is, like 404 or whatever. Just kidding, it's not gonna work. Kind of the same thing with their scheduler. It just timed out and then didn't do anything. So they had to basically find out that was a problem, go in and manually override it, and then that still took actually hours to get everything set up. From what I gather, the race did go on still, but it was...
There you go. Hey, and guess what? We made it. We have 38 seconds left.
Man.
So, okay, so we should have done Kong. It would have been cooler. In the 7-minute summary.
Well, he would have took up 2 minutes, 34 seconds, like, minimum.
Yeah, I guess so, and it would have made it more challenging. So there you go. That was your 7-minute summary.
We'll try to
figure it out a little bit more. But we figured that's going to be part of our new thing.
Yeah.
Hey, and if you hate the 7-minute summary, well, guess what? It's going to be around for a little while anyhow, because we need to try some different things just to. We want to have an informative section where we're just talking about things that don't take long format discussion, and just kind of keep that up and available for us to be able to do in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I think if you guys know my thought too, came up with this morning, so we're kind of still working it out. But thinking maybe the 7-minute section would be where we kind of hit things we may have hit already, and like an update.
For sure.
Whether it's gaming news or whatever, something may hit first, and then like maybe there's a new development, boom, and exactly like this. Something's happened that is still along lines that you guys might want to be you're interested in.
For sure. And and that's the other thing, as part of us growing and understanding what our interaction is going to be with you, the audience, with ourselves, with the information that we find that's really, really cool. We're always going to have things that are on the table, like, hey, I'll give you a heads up. Pilatus has the PC-24. It's an excellent jet that's going to be coming out in the not too distant future. It's finished. It's ready to go to market. It's doing some remarkable things, and it's something we want to talk about today. But the difference is that's a long format discussion. So in part of the efforts of what we have to think about before we come live to you is what makes long format, what makes short format, right? Other short format news would probably be like, congratulations to SpaceX for breaking another barrier, for putting up the 100 and something satellites.
I think it was just yesterday, Saturday. SpaceX sent up a Falcon 9 rocket just this weekend. I was able to see it in person.
Same.
Pretty cool. But I think the significant part was, I think it was 143 satellites.
143.
Or 134, one or the other. 143, I think it was. And anyway, that's a record for sending up the most amount of satellites on one. launch vehicle. They were CubeSats, microsats, the private and
143.
commercial- Yeah, private and commercial company. So yeah, pretty cool. But
That's pretty neat.
And I saw basically, if you guys were maybe interested in a quick fun fact, it's about $1 million. Obviously. Well, $1 million is a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's cheap to send this out.
I guess if you're in this, I've never priced out sending anything to space, so I wouldn't know the difference.
I mean, yeah, make
Right,
your own rockets
so-
and send them up. Yeah,
So here's
sure.
where we fell. That should have made. We should have left that in the 7-minute summary. So, and this is the things we're going to learn too, because the other thing that should possibly be in a 7-minute summary is the fact that in Boca Chica, I know right now they're getting
Yes.
ready to do another
Yeah.
Starship test. It's supposed to do the hop. I was just briefly talking to a friend, and he's like, "Yeah, I hope it's successful." I was like, "I actually hope it crashes because they learn so much more when it crashes than when it actually goes right. It's ridiculous. It's
I mean,
if it's not unmanned."
oh no, of course, I'm not saying anything about that. I just
Yeah.
mean I'm sure they've got so many sensors, and cameras, and everything on.
It's very sensitive.
Anything is good to have
Right.
as much data as possible. So, but yeah, we're monitoring that. I don't
Yes.
see any updates like when it would go, but obviously, if something happens during the show,
We'll go. We'll find it for you. So I guess so that's an attempt to show you what's going to be happening in the not too distant future. You guys all know we're preparing for a couple other things for the end of this week, which is going to be one of our first actual production pieces when we go to the Rolex. So there's some other tie-ins today in the show, but there's one other thing that actually came out that recently that I thought it was fantastic.
yeah, what was that? Just yesterday.
Yeah, it came out yesterday, and you know what? Piqued my interest. I'm pretty sure it piqued Corey's,
Yeah,
and as a
sure.
result, we have it here for you live on the live stream show, and that is none other than Gozilla versus Kong.
This is our only chance. We have to take it.
What's up?
We need Kong. The world needs him. To stop what's coming. And this child. She's the only one we'll communicate with.
I knew that they had a bond. She had nowhere to go, so
Mm-hmm.
I promised to protect her. And I think that in some way, Colin did the same.
That's right. She wasn't the first one.
Yeah,
That's right.
But that's why I think
The same universe where it happens
same,
again. Gotcha.
looks like the same Godzilla, which was good in the last movie.
But now he's bad.
Pissed off.
PO'd Godzilla.
It's Godzilla.
Yeah, that might not be a physical.
So this part is. How much? What's the buoyancy of a carrier? How much structural rigidity are we talking about?
Suspended disbelief. Don't worry. Just get.
How many?
You have to go along with the fantasy, man. Rolex. See, now I wonder if they got the scale right when he walking through the city because.
He was bigger than that. He was a carrier.
Yeah.
The myths are real. There was a war.
See, now I would think Mothra's coming back too.
Or just say that there's really only.
Apparently. So I bet you. So basically, Kong is gonna have a flashback.
Kong bows to no one.
By the power of Grayskull. No, just kidding.
Godzilla.
That is it, folks.
Did it say, wait, did it say
What?
in theaters?
In theaters when?
I don't know. No, did it say in theaters?
It didn't say. It just said official trailer. So that's the scenario. So it's heads up. We've detected copyright audio and video in your stream.
It says in
Your stream will be-
theaters. Oh, HBO Max as well. There you go.
Oh, really?
There you go,
So-
YouTube.
Oh,
See
what's
it
the
in
timer come
theaters
back for?
and on HBO
There you go.
at no extra cost to subscribers. Right there. Boom.
No extra cost.
No extra cost to
Interesting. Very interesting. So what's your thoughts?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, geez. Read the fine print, people. Available on HBO Max for 31 days from theatrical.
So it's 31 days out.
It's a month later. I mean, it's fine.
So what's the actual theatrical day
Well-
release? Because that would have been something that we might have looked up beforehand, but we didn't.
I feel like it would show it here in the. I don't know. Sorry, guys. 2021 this year, which is obviously just started, but yeah.
There you go.
Back up.
So in the universe of Godzilla, right? Godzilla made a return to the movies in what, 1997, 96? Was that the big one? Or
Well,
what
the
was-
one we were just talking about was 2019.
2019, there was that
And that
one.
was Godzilla King of Monsters.
Yes,
Saw that.
right.
So he's been. Sounds like they probably started making this one right after that.
But there was another one. Remember when
Oh.
there was that, oh God, it wasn't even that fantastic. It was a pretty good movie.
Oh, the
And I
Godzilla
want to
movie?
say, no, it was 2014 was the one that they made the other remake on. Right around the time where Cloverfield came out,
I do, yeah.
right? That was 2014. Really? It was 2014? No. There's another one out there someplace. I thought there was a 90s, a pre-2000 Godzilla movie out there.
Oh, there's a bunch. Huh?
When was the next one? No, it was 2004, right? Was it 2004? 1999.
Oh, that's a
Nope, that's a Japanese
something else.
version.
Sorry, I'm looking.
Nope, wait, wrong one. Here we are. Legendary Godzilla.
For 2000. That's 1998.
That was it.
98 on Hulu. Yeah, that's the one.
19.
That's where he hit. That's where at the end wasn't he going into a stadium or was that
Yes.
is that Cloverfield?
No, Cloverfield's when he was like laying eggs, and it wasn't he, but Cloverfield was when they were laying eggs inside like Madison Square Garden or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the other
Yeah.
Godzilla movie that came out in. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
This one.
Oh yeah, he had a funny looking.
Yes, he had a really strange looking face, and oh, so this is gonna keep coming back, is it? The 7 minutes of. So yeah, this one was the strange looking face Godzilla, where it was like everyone gave it. There was a lot of crap given for the fact that it was like he didn't look right. He had a weird face. His back was redesigned. He didn't have that same reptilian face that everybody really liked. And the movie, I think it was at the time when everyone was just trying to recapitalize on the rebirth of other series, and they figured, well, let's just make a new Godzilla movie. And it wasn't bad.
you
It
know.
just wasn't great. And it's also the time. Look, Jurassic Park had success with bringing out movies that were relative CGI rendering masterpieces, and the fact that now you could finally have a decent Godzilla that could be massive scale, that wasn't some big rubber animatronic toy. So it made that scening, a lot better for people to get that, I guess, that breath of CGI in there. So let's just call it, that was his official return. I guess the masterful return in actual scripting and storytelling would be the 2019 piece, right? Well, that's where this universe is going to play off
It
of.
depends. Yeah, that's what it seems like. That this movie that we just looked at is going to be a continuation of the come out 20.
Right.
It looks like.
Right.
By having some of the same, well, filmography, but also, I mean, Millie Bobby Brown's in there, so some of the same actresses. Like it's a.
You excited?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks cool. I mean, it's one of those where I want to see what maybe like the actual story is, maybe get a plot summary.
Right.
Planning on doing because, and that was the part that I was just mentioning it during the trailer was. Godzilla ended up being good last time, right?
Right.
There was the whole reason he had to get powered up by the radiation of something or something or other. But anyway, he ended up being good. Well, he's obviously pissed off about something.
Wait.
So-
well, we don't. So here's the thing, though.
In the movie, in the trailer, they did say they didn't know why he was being mad either. So,
right, and the thing
but
is,
why is he fighting King Kong now? Are we to think that King Kong is bad or a threat?
well,
somehow?
and here's
Like,
gonna
what are
be
we-
my take
where
on
are
it.
we
You know how
going
they
with that?
normally edit the trailer of a movie, like where you see you think you're seeing the whole and entire piece of the movie,
Yeah, it's like
and what you end up realizing is when they recut it, you saw in the trailer the first half an hour of the movie very, very specifically cut. And then you get literally 10 seconds of what the actual second part of the movie is.
Yeah.
And my guess is that you
too.
could find out that Kong could be bad, right?
Yeah.
Because in most movies, Kong is bad. Most movies, Kong isn't necessarily, well, let's put it this way. Kong's not bad. He's just tragically misunderstood. That's the story of King Kong, right? He's taken out of his habitat. He's taken to a place where he doesn't want to be. Then all of a sudden something happens where his love interest is being taken away from him. And before you know it, the world collapses in calamity because King Kong is now ferocious.
Because
and,
he's huge.
Well, he's the being that he's King Kong.
Yeah.
That's the being that King
He's
Kong
huge.
is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it.
No, yeah, I'd be interested to see more like next trailers. Let's say, what is the next trailer? What will the next trailer allude to? Anything new, or is it going to be kind of the same? I don't know. And again, as we watch that trailer, I have to try to suspend my disbelief and physics and structural and metallurgy and things, because as King Kong and Godzilla step on the deck of a carrier,
you're no fun to watch.
I don't know
a trailer
how much
with.
weight how weight they mass they must be out of the water.
Right.
It's got to be a lot of tons.
Sure.
And their footprint is let's say what 20 feet across, maybe.
Sure. Okay.
So all that weight into that area of the deck. Don't think carriers were designed to hold that.
Look, and I know you're a World of Warships fan and all that. So the first thing he sees, and we're sitting here watching, he goes, "There's no way they're doing that on an aircraft carrier." I'm like, "Hey, man, settle down. It could happen. It could happen. Why do you have to ruin it before you even see it?" Okay, well, it is funny though, because then I started thinking, well, that's no fun. And then I was like, well, if you figure the tail, now you figure how long does he have to be, so on and so forth.
Yeah, because you said like if he stands on the deck of the carrier in that one scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where is that scene?
Here's what I want to know: how does he get back? How does he get onto an aircraft carrier without a swim platform? Because if you've ever fallen in the water off the back of a boat, it's really hard to get back in a boat. Now, granted, for scale,
he's King Kong.
It would be roughly the same thing, right? If you get on a ski boat, I'm basically King Kong or Godzilla on a ski boat. No?
Let's see. Hold on. I'm finding it here. There you go. Here's some scale.
All right, scale.
Here,
what do you got? Do I have to bring you up?
Yeah. Do.
All right, you're up.
Screen. Look at the scale. Okay, so they're big. Let's not kid ourselves. This is the tower, the island, right? And here's a CH-53. It looks like.
Right.
They're large. They're big. Let's not lie. They're big.
Okay.
His head's pretty tiny compared to his body.
Right.
King Kong is actually just as big as Godzilla. And this, they kind of thought Godzilla was just bigger, and Kong was not quite as big. Large.
Right.
But if you were to think that that's the opening of the back of that helicopter, and a person's this big, you guys are pretty tall.
They're pretty big.
So, would you say that's to scale? I mean, there's some stuff back here of them in the city.
All right, so a tower, right? A tower on.
Here's a building. He's obviously way bigger than that building, but this building.
That's like so that's maybe what, a 9-story tall building?
This one?
Yeah, maybe.
1, 2.
How many stories is that one?
So 16-ish, maybe.
16. So go back to the carrier one. See if it's
That's what we do, Chad.
Yeah, well,
break it down.
because he suspends. Right. So basically, then what you're saying is that a Raptor, an F-22 Raptor, should almost be palm-sized to a Kong, Godzilla-sized dude, right? Because right there, that Raptor looked a little bit bigger than his mouth. And a Sea King, well, that was a Sea King, or which one was the?
It looked like a. I don't know if this is a 53.
That looks like a 53.
Looks like a 53.
Looks like a 53. Yeah, so maybe it is to the proper scale.
Maybe.
At
At least it's tipping here, right? At least it's showing a little bit of. There's weight on this thing.
Right.
This is out of the water. I don't know.
See, but now
we're analyzing this way more than you should be. It should just say, "Do I want to see this movie? Yes or no? Okay, wait for it. It's this year. Get HBO."
There you go.
But here you go.
Oh, okay. See, and here's the trickery. If you run your mouse back towards the back end of the screen, I thought that the carrier was much longer in that screen.
The carrier ends here.
The carrier ends there. Okay,
Yeah, and it's
so now
it's coming
I
up
see
out
it.
of the water a little bit, and it's down what looks like a little.
So basically, it's Kong's surfboard.
It's his boogie board.
Yeah, Surfing USA with dinosaurs and King Kong. But of course, I think it's gonna be interesting. I think it's a good
Yeah, it'd
movie.
be cool. It'd be entertaining, right?
I mean, and
Entertaining.
I have to watch those from the eyes of a 14-year-old because when I watch a movie like that, obviously I go, well, and then I go, but if my 14-year-old self
Yeah.
was watching it, I'd probably be excited as anything out there. It would just be interesting
Yeah,
to
you
see.
sit down in the theater and you just try to say, okay, I'm here to watch a movie about this stuff. Let me just suspend disbelief. enjoy
Crunch
it,
my popcorn.
and then when it's over, get up and leave.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Sure.
Yeah, of course. Boom. Good. Perfect.
And in the name of fun, we shall move on. Hey guys, remember, like, subscribe, follow. This is just interesting stuff that we find. Just stuff all over the internet, and it's fantastic to see these movies coming out. We hope you're big fans.
You good, yeah?
You know, we're gonna knock them a little bit, but of course, we're still big fans. We're probably gonna watch
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna spend the $30 immediately, but yeah,
I mean, we have HBO Plus.
Yeah, we do too. So we'll check it out. But hey, remember, like, subscribe, follow, and there's going to be more stuff to follow. And with that said, I'm going to pass it back to Corey because he found something that I thought was crazy in the world of remote control gliding, which I couldn't even believe. So off to Corey we go.
Cool. Yeah. So hello, welcome back again. This one's from I found on a website called Drone DJ. Basically, this website's a lot about drones. A lot of them powered drones. But there was this article I found about a glider, and even the author of the article even says, most times they're all about talking about drones, but something pretty cool happened, so he wanted. I also thought it was interesting. So on the face of it, here we have an RC glider, and that's nothing new, but the headline kind of says it all. This is setting a new speed record for such a thing, and at 548 RC glider, again, remember they're unpowered. They
Yeah.
rising in different air levels of wind, depending on wherever they might be able to get them, and we'll go into how. And boom, 548 miles per hour. So if we go down a bit, they start to mention that this was achieved through something called dynamic soaring. And I'm just going to read this, and then we'll talk about it so you guys can pick up on it again. So what is dynamic soaring? If you haven't heard about it, it's not that surprising. It requires a very special type of aircraft and a very special geography, land, right? Land. And not a lot of people do this, but here you go. So just looking up, basically radio-controlled glider pods perform dynamic soaring using leeward side of ground features such as ridges, saddles, or rows of trees. If the ridge faces the wind and has a steep side, the leeward, it can have cause flow separation off the top of the hill and the layer of fast-moving air over the top of the volume of stagnant or air that's not moving at all, or even reverse flow behind that hill. And this, it's a wind shear. It can be greater, and a lot of birds use this. Some sailplanes. So the higher gradient allows for correspondingly greater energy extraction. We'll show a diagram here in a minute. This can result in much higher speeds of the aircraft. Models repeatedly cross the shear layer by flying in a circular path. So you'll see the guy's going to fly in about an ellipse, and you'll see that he's basically able to fly with tailwind, very strong tailwind, down the slope, and then turn back down and kind of fly up the closer to the ground of the hill.
Flying, yes.
And where there is no wind there. You'll
Yes.
see that they're just constantly just kind of gathering energy as they go around.
And then we went inverted.
And something, wow, yeah, possibly. The loads caused by such rapid high turning speeds, the models can pull over 100 Gs, require significant structural
100
reinforcement,
Gs.
fuselage, and wing. So dynamic soaring models are commonly built with composites. Okay, cool, very very sweet.
All right, so I have your thing up
Got
here
it?
right now.
All right,
so
let me see if I can go up and see this GIF.
there you go. So
Oh,
here
it's
it is.
doing
It
it.
goes
There you
up.
go.
So it's going up. It
Yep.
hits this boundary layer.
So
and immediately turns back down with this steep downward gain of airspeed. And then as it turns back up, because there's no wind, it's in still air. So it maintains a lot of the velocity.
Yep.
And it's basically almost like an RC super collider. And you're accelerating this thing over and over and over again as you push it to its new record of speed, which I think is fantastic. So if you want to cue the video up on
so
yours.
obviously you lose some energy going up this, but much less, or much rather gaining of energy as you turn into the wind and then turn right around. And you're in this tailwind situation much longer than you are into the headwind where you. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that all seems great, but we'll go down and we'll. Ready?
Go for the video.
So I'm gonna play it, but then I'll go.
Make it large.
I'll turn audio off. So there they launched it. They launched it into the wind. Let me get the mouse out of this right here. And it is a little bit hard to see, and I might slow the video down for you here as we kind of get the idea what's going on as it plays. But you can see they're going down, or rather up the slope, but close to the ground, and then they go away from the slope, away from the camera. And there's a wind layer there.
Oh, you lost your feed. Your feed went. Oh, it's back. What do you know?
Literally not touching anything.
Yeah, I figured as much.
But there you go. So this is, and I mean, on the face of it, what do you have here? You got an RC glider that's using wind to go really fast. Seems
You're probably
cool.
have to slow it down because there's probably nothing that can track it at this point under compression.
So we're gonna slow it down to quarter speed, which is pretty slow. And there you can see it here. I'll track it a bit, and then I'll make the mouse go away. Kind of lose it down here, and then it goes back up, and you pick it up there. You might have to do it on yours.
No, you got it. You got it. It's.
So I'll stop the mouse, and you see. But basically, I have this slowed down to 1/4 speed of the video. And over the course of this run here, they used the radar gun, and they got speeds of 540 miles per hour.
Which is crazy.
Pretty sweet. Again, remembering, right? This is an RC powered aircraft, guys, but it's not. It has no propulsion. It's a glider,
Right.
which is just crazy. Super cool.
Let's see if we can get it come up on this one. There it is.
I'll stop mine.
We don't really need the audio for this because it's actually loud and just blustery audio. It's not.
It's windy.
It's windy, and you're not really getting anything out of the audio. But in terms of what the actual quality is there.
While you guys are watching that, you may, if you're interested, you may be interested in where. It says brought back to you by Parker
Right there
Mountain, California, and the wind gusts were about 65 miles per hour. Temperature about 45 to 50 Fahrenheit. So it's a bit chilly, but really good winds. And
There you go.
it's
So what's the implications though here, right? So I look at this and I go, okay, really fast glider, but it's got to be, yeah, you got a record, which is great, and it's an aviation first, right? You got this RC carbon fiber 100G withstanding aircraft being able to fly these vicious circles. Yep. But the practicality application of it is, did they say what they really wanted to do with this? If there was a practical application that they were going to find in the not too distant future that may set them apart in what their studies were.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm not a glider pilot myself, but I've
Neither am I.
glider pilots, and some of the flight times they can get by different techniques of dynamics are quite like this.
Mm-hmm.
I know of. They can be in the air for quite a long time. Again, remembering that they have they're using any energy to kill themselves, capture from the environment.
Right.
So, what applications? I mean, you could maybe get some stuff out of maybe materials testing with this. I don't really know, to be honest. Great with this technology.
Right. Right.
I would curious to see.
Well, I mean, if it was for to develop like a new high-speed wing or a new shape or something like that, like it seemed like it was a fairly rudimentary design when they launched it. Didn't seem like it was fairly technically advanced, but yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is a structural design thing.
Materials, yeah. Possibly.
Well, it would be interesting to see if they would use this technology or the understanding of what was happening with the winds in placement of wind generation fields. Now, I'm sure that research has been going on for decades, but yeah, wind turbines and things of that nature. I'd flown in the mountains a lot in big jets, and it's different, when you're real high over the mountains, but you can still get mountain wave turbulence that extends way up into the atmosphere, way higher than people give it credit for, and disrupting the ride of even a major commercial airliner.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just wondering if they're going to find some other practicalities in this that would be interesting enough that you could use in your daily life, maybe in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's certainly something I thought was pretty cool, guys. With the internet, I am interested. Something was really cool and something I hadn't really heard of before. Right. I thought it may have.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, remind the folks what they can do.
Hey, so we thank you for joining. Subscribe. Very much helps us out, expand our channel, let us bring more things that hopefully you find interesting. Remember, you can comment as well on any of these videos, these clips, what you liked, what you might want to see more of. We can work on those things,
or
as well with your support as we go through this. Yeah. Whatever as well. We're going to do some excursions as is coming. quite local, but a
Local
nearby Daytona International Speedway, and check out the Rolex. So bringing you some content from that, some live stream stuff.
Yep.
So tune in for that as well. And maybe that's a good segue to kick it back to you.
It's coming back to me, and the timer is back. We're just gonna kick over to this. You know what? Timer is. We set it up really briefly at the very beginning, and it sucks because we haven't really figured out what we actually put in here yet. But we're gonna figure it out because, yeah, we'll figure it out later. Anyhow, so for those of you who are tuning in and don't know what this channel is all about, it's about a little bit of everything, but mostly it's about what's local to us as well that we can bring to you in a different perspective into the world of YouTube, and that would be the Rolex 24 at Daytona. As you can see, I'm representing today with my Cadillac racing shirt on.
It's on one of those.
It's on one of those because I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because, as this article mentions right here, the Rolex 24 at Daytona, the Willin Cadillac team wins the inaugural Motul race, which is actually the roar before the 24, basically what it supplanted, and they won the pole for next week's race. Now, since 2017, Cadillac has won the race since every year.
Yeah.
Cadillac has been dominant. Okay, so the number 31 Welland Engineering Cadillac, driven by Felipe Nasser, Deepo Durrani, Chase Elliott, and Mike Conway, will start at the pole of the Rolex 24 after winning Sunday's Motul Pole Award 100 qualifying race at Daytona International Speedway. Now, this is massive as far as one thing. The Acuras last year were pretty impressive in their ability to storm onto the track and actually produce some fast lap times, although they didn't have the reliability that they suspected, and they did run into some problems with a couple of off-track incidences. This particular car has been supersonic most of the times that we've actually witnessed it on the track, and we're looking forward to see Cadillac actually make some fantastic racing amongst its own teams that are also going to be running Cadillacs, but amongst the Acuras that are going to be there and represented as well for the fastest class at the Rolex 24. Now, what's more exciting for me in particular is that I wanted to see if Cadillac still had the speed, because I knew the Acuras had picked up a little bit coming into this year, and I knew the Mazdas had particularly picked up probably most than any other team, especially after last year running some pretty badass flat-out lap times, although reliability has still affected them in that manner. So what's going to be real interesting is the conditions for this Willin race, or excuse me, for the Motul race, were not exactly ideal.
Yeah.
And knowing that the conditions now looking for the Rolex are going to be almost pristine with 75-degree temperatures,
Very good. Yeah.
almost sunny and partly cloudy days on both, and really not super cold temperatures going into the nighttime racing, which means the surface will get a little damp, but not super cold. I think the racing is going to be amazing, and it's going to be one of the teams that I'm going to be looking forward to watching coming up with the Rolex. So, what do you think about this one, man? So now, that's the other thing. When we take you guys to the Rolex, we are going to have 2 cameras. We're going to be doing some audio-video testing so that we can bring some stuff back to the channel for basically a features test on one of the cameras we're going to be using. But as well, we're also going to be giving you an upfront, close taste of, unfortunately, a COVID-different Rolex 24.
Yeah.
But a Rolex 24 that's very different from any other race, I'm going to say, in motorsports. Having attended quite a few races, what's your take on that, Corey? What we can bring them come this weekend from the Rolex?
Yeah, so as Rolex, kind of Mike is a bit different, and for me too, I've grown up racing the Rolex, and it's something really cool. Kind of part of my history, part of growing up, and the fact that you can get a bunch of teams, a bunch of various drivers per team, sometimes various cars per team, and run these race cars for 24 hours straight. The cars that make it through is not only, an endeavor in endurance for, also structure, planning, race planning.
Sure.
There's so much that goes into a race that is that length, and it's really cool. If you guys are not aware of this, if you're into racing, you just endurance racing, whether or the Rolex here at Daytona. We're gonna bring you some stuff on site to hopefully show why we're excited about it, why we like it so much.
Oh yeah.
And well, as he alluded to, it's gonna be a little bit of testing things out, because obviously race cars are loud, and the fact that for our race there's really no quiet time.
Nope.
So we'll have to work on some own and bring you. Before I kind of close out anything with this too, I was looking at this article, and they did interview Nasser, one of the drivers there for this team. I thought it was interesting. While he made a comment on the fact that the conditions are great, he also mentioned that, quote, not everyone was showing their hands. They could have gone much quicker than they were doing. We were not showing everything we've got either. So, yeah. So what you, and I also brought up the actual, I don't know if you can go to me real quick.
What do you got? Oh, there you go.
The actual,
Of course yours
stats
quit.
for the end, right?
Of course yours quit the second we went to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang it. Go down, or, no, I found it on the IMSA's web. I won't be able to find it. Anyway,
There it is.
the point being, yeah, if you,
Beam it to me. See if we can find it. We'll get it up there again.
yeah, so basically the idea was that out of this, looking at the top spot there was DPI, so Cadillac, then it was Mazda, then it was Caddy, then it was Acura, and double Caddy, and LMPs and all that guys. So the point there was that the total times between these classes, or these cars, they're all on the lead lap. They're all 51 laps, and maybe 1 second or less. And actually, the Cadillac beat the second number 2 Mazda, the second place Mazda, only less than 4 seconds. Looks like.
There we go.
Just over 4 seconds.
Got it.
Right. So they're not, if they have 51 laps, right, and they in the kind of trailing them, or any of these teams weren't really pushing. This gives you an idea of what's going on, but maybe, as he said, maybe not everybody's showing their full, kind of keeping the cards close,
Right.
especially with the weather being a bit.
Well,
crappy.
look who's in second. Mazda.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Caddy, and then we had a Mazda, and then we had the other Caddy, and then some more Caddies at the bottom.
Right.
So just like you said, you've got Cadillac, Mazda, Caddy, then Acura. So top 4, you've got 3 different teams in top 4.
But
so
interestingly enough, last year Mazda broke the track record that was existing
yeah.
when the Jost team brought this
Oh,
car
yeah.
over there.
Yeah,
So
that's what I mean.
and you know what's funny to me though, the DPI class, when you're actually there and you actually get a chance to actually witness a Rolex, and this is one of the things that we're going to try to capture for you. You know, you go see a race on TV, right? You watch it on TV. It captures nothing of the actual throttling of how the cars feel when they pass by you, and you're standing by the fence, and they zip past you at 190 to 210 miles an hour. Okay, these things are wickedly fast. They're amazing machines to see them screaming to the corners, and on top of that, the Mazdas. The funniest thing is, 3 years ago when Mazda came back and they took their first cars back out on the racetrack, the silence in which they performed around the racetrack, it was eerie. We're like,
weird.
How could something that quiet be that fast? The same thing. Remember with the Nissan, the tri-wheel Nissan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That thing was another one that was like, how could something that quiet be that fast? And then here comes a Cadillac, and your ears are ringing for the next 20 minutes.
Right behind that.
Corvette's
It's
right behind it.
meow.
Even
and
the
it's great, but
right, and even the Corvettes have changed their noise a little bit from the year before on the C7. What is it? The C6 to the C7.
7R,
Okay.
C8.
Now the C8. They've all made different changes in their actual audio. So it's quite interesting to see all these cars on the track. And the other thing that's also really interesting is to watch them progress from the daytime racing to the nighttime racing.
Yeah, I mean, kind of as Mark was
Who's Mark?
I don't know, some guy. I just saw him outside.
Who's Mark?
No, as Mike was alluding to, racing, when you're there, it has a bit of.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about how cool it is and how fascinating it is and interesting to watch a rocket launch in person,
Mm-hmm.
because you see it, and of course it's amazing. You think all things that happen, all the people, man hours that went into happen safely, but then 30 seconds after it's up and it's a bit away from you, you can start feeling it.
Yeah.
As it penetrates your body because it's powerful. Pretty cool. Gotta remember this. And that kind of goes the same with racing. Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about maybe past, quite close to the fence, down start finish, and you can see the cars go by you. If you're far enough back up a start finish, kind of away from turn 1 a bit, you get them pretty much max speed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, it's
See,
got a car pass you at near 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like
That's great.
8 feet away.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that's really different as well is when you're watching on TV, right? Even with widescreen and HD television, they can capture some of the racing, the elements of how the track looks and feels. The difference is there's camera angles that you'll never get to see or appreciate at the actual racetrack and get an actual feel for how tight an actual radius of a corner is and how it's represented. Because I know for myself, when I used to watch this back up in the cold northeast winters and I'd watch on TV, I'd be like, oh, the Rolex. You're like, oh man, it'd be so cool to be there. And then when you're finally there and you see how big the track actually is, and you get a chance to see how tight some of these corners are, and then you get a chance to see that on the infield section, there's not a lot of room to make reactions at 130 to 160 miles an hour, depending on where you're coming through some of these corners. When you're one of the faster DPIs coming up on one of the GTE cars, you're closing at an amazing rate that it just isn't captured on television. And the difference is that's a couple of things that I want to try to bring with some of the cameras that we're going to bring to see where you finally get that understanding of, man, that's a completely different perspective. And that's part of that visceral experience of making that transition between daytime, nighttime racing, and then really understanding that you're also combining 4 different classes of race cars on that track, which is unlike most other motorsports, main motorsports events featured today that most people follow. Because, you know, obviously NASCAR, F1, and IndyCar, all of the same type car. Oh, look who's awake.
What are you doing?
Look who's awake, Mr. Roscoe, the
I don't know
Moscow.
if he's in frame. Oh, yeah, kind of.
There's just a snout and a tail.
And he's going to sit down, and that'll be it.
And he's going to chill out again. So that's a couple of the other things we're going to bring to you guys. And remember, if you guys, if you're not big fans even of racing and so on and so forth, this is just part of some of the stuff that we're doing. And this is another transition into us making the experience from going from live stream programming to actually bringing some produced programming to you, and then bringing snippets and other different things to you that are of interest, because it won't stop there. In the not too distant future, we'd also like to cover different airplanes, different cars. What are some of the other things we have there? We want to try. I'm still working on getting a drag race, and I'm trying to add maybe a third between a Model 3, a GTI, and now a Land Rover.
What motor's in that Land Rover? I heard you guys
Supercharged 8.
Is that stock?
No, I don't know.
Didn't come that way, or
I don't think so. But yeah,
more stuff to follow.
So we're trying to get that together. There's some other things, and also live SpaceX launches, and we don't mean live covering SpaceX's streams. Okay. We have access to an area which we are literally 13 miles away from the launch pads, which SpaceX takes off from every day. Okay, and we see these things. We literally drive past them with our cars. And with the proper equipment, we should be able to capture a live launch experience in a way that you've never experienced before. You can watch all the videos in the world of what that actual launch experience is like. It's totally different when you're actually here and you see it make the arc across the sky. So that's a couple other things that we're looking to cover for you. And not to boast, but we do have some experience in these fields, in between auto racing, sim, gaming, and all that other thing, and even some parts of space. Not so much, but in aviation, we're pretty much well-founded in our experiences in helicopters and airplanes. So we do have a little bit of a different expertise to offer you too, from that perspective. So we're looking forward to bringing you that as well. So remember, folks, that is coming up this weekend. Now we're about to. I guess we have to start discussing our schedule and how we're going to bring this to you, because we're hoping that if we can get a good enough signal from the actual parking lot before we get into the facility, to give you a quick 20-minute live stream from there before we go inside and then get everything set up. And it should be really cool. We do have, and if the weather's going to be good, we're going to do that. So we're going to work on a schedule. And if there's anything in particular for our viewers that you want to see out of the Rolex, if you're big fans of sports car racing, if you're big fans of endurance racing, if you want particular pictures of a specific car, a team, one element of the track, or something else, let us know, because we'll do our very best to fulfill whatever it is we can get for you in that respect. And also for future topics. Just that's all you got?
Yeah, future topics.
All right.
Good stuff.
Future topics. Good stuff for so if there's something else that you think we should be covering, and again, we'll cover anything. We'll cover gaming. Here's another thing. Last week, Epic Gaming released Battlefront 2 for free. Guess what we were doing last night?
Trying to do that.
Yeah, we were getting our asses kicked by all the guy with purple cards, and
jeez.
It was fun, but you know what? We're gonna try it again, and we have the link to.
It's still fun.
It is still fun.
It's still fun, even when you don't have all the stuff that everybody else has for playing so long.
It's still a Class A title, so it's good for everybody else out there. And I think tonight I'm going to take a hand at live streaming it, so it's probably going to be on my channel.
Yeah.
So even though I do get frustrated at the fact that I get shot in the face all the time, it's another thing we'd like to cover for you. So that's what we got planned for you.
Yeah.
So we need your input to help us move forward. If there's anything else that you want to see us cover, let us know. We'll be more than happy to cover it. All right.
Yeah, our range. Our interests have a wide range, so let us know. Even if it's something we may have hinted at before or didn't, right? Just drop a comment and say, hey guys, or even this upcoming technology or anything.
Yeah, and
check it out.
And if you're not already a subscriber, please like, subscribe, and follow so we can continue to bring you the utmost in technology, racing, aviation, space exploration, cars, and more.
Oh, yeah.
All right here on the Not Your Average Show. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And we will catch you Tuesday. We'll try to be about Wednesday. We'll try to be on at 1:30 if we make it. If we don't add another silly thing into the format, we'll see if we can make it. And we'll also bring you some more 7-minute summaries. So thanks for tuning in. And we will see you guys on Wednesday. Take care.
Thanks for joining.
All right.
Easy.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys.
Later.